Yeah. Resistance mentioned. What's up, everyone? I'm Squishy Joshy, Creative Vagabond, taking you on adventures in gaming, art, music, and experiences. And today we're checking out a brand new Muse song called Hexagons. I am super excited about this one. As many of you know, Muse are one of my favorite bands, and the first two songs that they've released off the wow signal have definitely made us go wow so far. So I'm very hopeful for this new one. Anyways, guys, you know how the format is. Let's get right on to this reaction. Ooh. Huh? That's so bizarre. It's like speeding up and slowing down. Ooh. That's cool. Is that Thanos' ship? Okay. I know he was about to sing, but let's just talk about that first minute. This is exciting because it's another longer song, 5 minutes 26. We've kicked off really strong with this very interesting arpeggiated pattern, right? It's like you've got the synth line and the guitars kind of playing in unison. So the guitars are up here, and then the synth is sort of going along with it. That sounds really awesome. I'm curious though, like this being my first listen and all, it's very interesting how they kind of start the phrase quite fast, like, and then as it reaches the end of the phrase, it slows down. So it's like, and I'm like, that is bizarre yet intriguing. And then in Muse fashion, they go from like those solo arpeggios into like this epic grandeur space opera kind of thing, which is just phenomenal. And you know, this is just a visualizer. We don't have like any sort of music video to riff off, but I'm really loving what I'm hearing right now. When we got into that heavier rock moment where the guitars came in, I really love the sound of the guitars with the classic way that Matt Bellamy does the sort of lower guitar work, where he's sort of doing like a slide into a low end vibrato kind of thing, like a if you know what I mean. We've heard that guitar technique being used in plenty of Muse songs in the past, and that being paired with those anthemic drums that are going around the kit, like the dum, just sound phenomenal. And I wonder if this is potentially in a different time signature. I haven't really paid attention to that just yet, but I wonder if they're sort of going off like a hexagon pattern, considering the song is called Hexagons. Maybe when we get back into it, I'll pay a bit more attention to that. But everything that we've heard so far is pretty interesting. I don't want to dilly-dally on that too much. Let's get back into it because I feel like this track has got a lot to offer. I am really actually wondering where it will go from here, and are we going to be presented with more of that classic Muse sound, or are we going to get something completely different? So let's jump back into it. I wonder if that's some Cryogen reference. Cool. Nice. Gorge on my soul while I'm weak and dying. Oh. Yes. Yes. You all thought Cryogen was the one? This, my friends, this is like the muse that I grew up with. This was the stuff that really got me into progressive alternative rock. Now, granted, there is one difference, the production. We're comparing stuff from early 2000s, 90s to like 2020 and beyond production. I think that would probably be the real noticeable difference. But aside from that, we are so back. This is like the muse that I want to be hearing. Let's talk about those verses for a sec. So I think it was 2 verses. Just before I pause it, it seems like we're going into a chorus now. So it's like verse 1, verse 2, or maybe verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus. But the verses that we just listened to, super cool, super laid back. I guess maybe another difference would be that they're sort of injecting a bit more EDM or trap into it. And that's strictly on the drum patterns that they're going for here, especially the way that the hi-hats are written into the song. But I really like how it's juxtaposed in this song. It's giving the bass a lot of breathing room, which was something that was more noticeable in like the Origin of Symmetry era. And I really like how Matt Bellamy's sort of smoother and quieter vocals are really working in a way that makes everything feel very balanced. Like you've got these lower register whispery vocals sort of floating amongst these really prominent drum sounds and the dark bass sounds. And then you've also got this nice little arpeggiated sound going on in the background where it's kind of like and those song composition elements really do remind me of classic Muse, and I love that. It is taking me back to like micro cuts from Muse. There was a time where I was obsessed with that song, and so that's why I'm really liking this. I was obsessed to the point where back in high school I tried to learn it on guitar and sing it. And at one point I hit the notes, but I don't think with my current voice, I don't think I'll be able to do that ever again. So yeah, you can choose not to believe me, but I'm telling you, I hit all the notes. So that's just to let you guys know how much I was into that song originally. And so being able to hear a new Muse song, 20 or so odd years later in that same style that I would be blasting all day, every day, go to school and be like, man, I really love all these Muse songs that I've just been discovering now, and spreading that love with my classmates, and then they get into Muse. Yeah. For me, that was just a great time. I want to hear this next part where the falsetto comes in. So let's dial it back and continue. So good, so good. Yes. Resistance mentioned. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. That's so cool. Hang on. This reminds me of another song. Yes, I know what it reminds me of. Dark Side. Dark Side being the more musy song of Simulation Theory. And I'm hearing it. When I heard Simulation Theory back when it was released, I was like, oh, Dark Side's got to be the one that's like going to bring me the old school Muse vibes back. And it was-ish. There were some differences. Not everybody loves Simulation Theory as much as their other stuff. But I'm hearing compositionally a lot of similarities to Dark Side. Although this one actually feels more musy to me. Like this one actually feels like what Dark Side probably should have been. But then again, I don't know. There are some differences, obviously. I think Dark Side was probably a faster song. This one seems a little slower, but has those really cool Muse tropes of like the lower guitar and a much crisper arpeggiated synth. I think I also have to say that the vocal work and the lyrics of this one are a lot stronger as well. I'm really digging the overall sound of this. Perhaps you can call this Dark Side 2.0 or the revamped version, whereas the last song we heard, Cryogen, was more of like a plug-in baby 2.0. It's hard to also identify the different sections of the song. That could potentially be a bit of a distinction between the two. This seems to be a more thought out composition where it's more of a progressive rock song where the sections don't really have to make sense. It's more like verse, chorus, post-chorus, bridge. You know, it's a bit more of a jigsaw puzzle versus Dark Side, which I think was a bit more clear on what it was. It was like verse, chorus, solo, and then chorus, and then maybe another chorus repeat, something like that. That's like your standard sort of pop structure. But this one seems to be more on the interesting train in terms of structure and composition. So it definitely gets some bonus points for that. But wow, guys, this album is shaping up to be one of the better Muse albums in a long time. Surely you guys will have to agree on that. And these visuals, like for something that is just a visualizer, right? Whoever created this, and the typography at the start as well, when it had the text saying Hexagons, very consistent across all the releases that they've done so far. I love the whole art direction. I studied graphic design and I would love that kind of consistency with my own projects. Maybe I just need to expand my circle to know more artistic people, because I would love to one day have some kind of like art director for my music project that understands the project and everything and kind of acts like a additional member to the band. Clearly Muse have someone that's doing something like that, because pretty much everything they've released off this new record so far seems to be very consistent in the visual identity, and that's something I like. When it comes to me and my graphic design background, I like that. And of course musically, fantastic. Let's get back into it. Oh, here we go. Just like the intro. Hey, this is like Stranger Things. That's cool. Love that one. That note right there. That's cool. It's like fractals. Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that. Oh, hang on. Directed by Ewan McIntosh. Might have to look into that later on. But did you guys notice that towards the end of the song there, it sounded like it was building up into something else? Some of you guys know I love song transitions. We hear that a lot in artists like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, where they'll get to the end of a song and you'll hear that it is building up into something else, building into the next track, and it feels more like this sort of long-winded experience rather than just like detached songs, like one song after the other. Let's keep that in mind though, because if you go back to the earlier Muse albums, you know, Black Holes and Revelations, for example, usually you'll have a song by them and it'll have this build-up, right? Let's take Map of the Problematic or City of Delusion, for example. Muse had this way in Black Holes and Revelations where the production was super crisp, and as they get to the end of the song, it'd be like it's really like a sudden cutoff, and you hear that in a lot of Muse's older stuff. Very rarely did a song ever transition across to the next track, because almost every song on those older albums were very distinct, very unique in their own way, but also cohesive enough to be put on each of their respective albums. Now, there are some exceptions. Citizen Erased was one of those exceptions, going into microcuts, because at the end of Citizen Erased, it'll be like And there was that really interesting synth in the background going, and it faded into the start of Microcuts, which started with that synth. So there are examples where they have done it before, but it isn't across the board. And so hearing it here on Hexagons, I'm very excited because it sounds like they want us to be hyped for the track that comes after Hexagons. So it's like, oh my goodness, Hexagons was a mad Muse song. It felt great. It just took us back to our childhood of listening to Muse, but they didn't want the hype to end there. They want us to be like, oh, there's more. And I love that kind of thing. Whenever I write my own music, I try to be conscious about how some songs can transition to one another. I like to do that as much as I can, but there are some examples where I didn't pull that off. You guys can check for yourself if you want. I do have my own music and I'm not shy to self-promote it every now and then. I'm very inspired by Muse. So if you like Muse, if you like Radiohead, that sort of stuff, you may like my stuff. You don't have to check it out, but if you want to check it out, there should be a link up here in the corner. But otherwise, Hexagons, fantastic song, really bringing back that classic Muse vibe. Oh, don't know what happened there. All right, let's continue this Muse reaction train right now with the music video for Cryogen. Treat this as bonus footage. We've already reacted to the music of Cryogen. We have not seen this music video yet, so this should be fun. I always love watching the music videos because I love watching creative art direction, and I also love seeing the band playing their instruments, whether that's the guitar or the drums or the bass. I always love to analyze that stuff, and if they can do it in a really cool and artistic way, I always love checking that out as well. So we're going to check out this music video now, and if you haven't checked out my wider breakdown of Cryogen, you can also click up here for the link to that one. Some people have said in the comments that it was one of the better reactions to the song that they've seen, and I'm always blown away by those kind of comments. It just shows how nice the community is here. Obviously there are some bad apples here and there that come in and try and disturb the peace, but the ratio is massively skewed. Usually we've got some really nice and genuine people here, and it's funny because I usually see it in more of the rock music that I react to. There are more instances when I react to like pop or maybe international music. Usually when I start going into that territory, more of the bad apples start to come in. But when I react to artists like The Warning or Muse or even Sleep Token, I'm really seeing some fantastic people here. I don't know if you guys went through like similar struggles to me, which put you on to music like this. I don't know. I grew up in a very chaotic high school with a lot of people that felt like they had like, you know, superiority complex kind of thing. But yeah, it's really great to see people coming in on the comments and liking what I do. And so I'll keep doing these reactions because I enjoy doing them as well. I enjoy hearing this new music that pops up, and of course also the songs that you guys are recommending. I always love to check that stuff out. Anyways, let's check out this music video for Cryogen. Again, really cool art direction here. Whoa, is that blood water? Nice. Oh, different director. Oh, I love the reds and contrasting with the sort of icy blues. Oh, love this. Oh, love it. I love this. This is so good. Red microphone, the effects, everything about this new Muse album is speaking to me. I also really love the way this was edited. There's a lot of modern bands now, especially in the metal space, that do this thing where they have like these camera movements that go around the band. It's a multi-cam thing. So there's a bunch of cameras, sometimes even a drone camera that's going around. And first of all, they're doing a good job with their filming. But when it gets to the editing board, they are literally cutting the clip on every beat. You'll see the guitarist for like 1 second and like he'll maybe do like a 2-note thing, then it will cut to like the bassist, you know, maybe throwing his bass around his body or something, then it will cut to the drummer hitting one cymbal. It might work in some instances, but I've just been seeing it so much in like modern metal rock music videos where you don't even get to see what the artist is doing. There's less focus on the artist and just more like, you know, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like they're just trying to push this thing. Here's a wall of sound, and here's like, you know, the band being like really edgy, and you got your wide angle lens. I prefer this kind of editing way better. It's like they purposely want you to see how he's playing his intro solo. So the guitarists out there can mirror what he's doing and learn how to play it themselves. I like that we're getting these sort of stationary camera angles that linger on the band members a bit longer so that we can see what they're doing. We can see how they're playing different parts. That just shows whoever edited this knows what they're doing, knows how to appeal to people like myself who actually want to analyze what's going on. You can add all these cool special effects like the snowstorm and the red water and all that's fine, but like give us a chance to see what the band is actually doing. There are more extreme examples, like for example MUSE-ier's hyper music. That is an example of where there is some chaotic camera stuff happening and maybe a bit more of a focus on like having these extreme lens flares, but they still kept the camera lingering on them for most of it. So even though that particular MUSE video was a bit more chaotic and crazy, we're still not being thrown all over the place, which is what I really appreciate about this video. Anyways, let's get back into it. Hey, it's underwater. I really love that part in the song. I just have to sing it all the time. Thanos' ship, it emerges. Oh, what can you say, guys? What can you say? This is just fantastic. This is the level of music video that I want. The cinematography in this is fantastic, and even though it was directed by someone else, the styles are very consistent. So probably there was some kind of mood board that everyone was referring to. It definitely gives me that kind of sci-fi, Doctor Who, you know, Space Odyssey kind of vibe, which I really love. I love the use of film grain. The other thing that's really cool about this is it seems like it was completely done by human CG artists. I can't tell if there's any AI involvement, which is always a bonus. I don't think you can escape AI in the current landscape, but this looks like it was done by actual humans and not over edited by any AI. You know, when you watch certain music videos that were edited by AI, you can tell. Blackpink's Go was an example of that, where some of the backgrounds were done with AI, and people took notice, but everyone seems to have a bit of a double standard when it comes to things like that. When it is a artist that is super well loved, like Blackpink, for example, example, they seem to sweep it under the rug. Some people will be against it, but most people, because you have to admit that Blackpink are a huge name in the music industry right now. There is a huge fan base for them. And when that fan base sees them use AI, for example, I think they feel very indifferent. Like some people who are just solely against it will be like, nah, I'm done. I can't do it with this band or artist anymore, that kind of thing. And then you've got people that are like, but I really like this artist. And what they'll do is they'll sweep it under the rug. To a degree, a lot of us are like that. And I don't know if that is something we can change. I don't know if that is something we want to even acknowledge, but it is what it is. I feel like AI can be used sparingly. I think helping you maybe develop an idea, or you challenge the AI and until you come to some sort of mutual agreement, that's a lot better than just saying, hey, can you generate me this music video that has me and my bandmates and we're in like some magical fantasy land playing our instruments and stuff, and then just see what the AI spews out. Or maybe you want to write a script for something. Unless you really challenge the AI, you're going to get something that is generic and it's going to be telling a lot of other people the same or similar things. And so you really got to be careful of how you use AI. I think it's designed to make some things a little bit more simple, but you need to be doing some critical thinking for yourself. Everyone's probably used it to some extent, whether it's minimal or maximal. You just got to be aware. Whenever I use AI, it's kind of just to work on an idea, and oftentimes it will give me something and I'll be like, it's not good. it's just not good. And I'll keep challenging it until I think that it's something worth talking about or sharing. That's just a random AI rant. We can probably talk about AI all day, even with robotics and stuff. The robots that are being developed right now, scary stuff. These things can probably take people's jobs soon, but hopefully we'll be all right. Anyways, let's get back into this. I think I didn't notice that bass fill last time. The other song this reminds me of is like that song by Turnstile. I think it's Birds. See, even with this riser. Nice. Hey, that could have been the album cover. Like, I get making the little donut Thanos ship the album cover, but that could have been the album cover. Just crop it into a square. That's cool. It would be like a callback and a nod to Absolution, where the guy's like looking up and you see the shadows of all the people, even drones. It'd be a callback to like many Muse covers before it. As you know, we really love this song. As we speak, it is still number 2 on my top 10 charts. If you're not following that yet, please do check it out in the description. And yeah, that was Muse Hexagons and the music video for Cryogen. Thank you guys for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.